The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Zixathera's proclamation echoed through the crystalline halls of the Nexus Station. Representatives from 1,000 worlds had gathered to hear the formal declaration that would reshape the galaxy's political landscape forever. By unanimous vote of the surviving species, the insectoid ambassador announced, her mandibles clicking with satisfaction, humanity is hereby declared extinct. Their worlds are forfeit, their territories open for colonization. A collective sigh of relief rippled through the assembly. The humans had been troublesome from the moment they'd stumbled into galactic society with their crude fusion drives and primitive weapons. Too aggressive, too unpredictable, too willing to fight when diplomacy would suffice. Their extinction during the Plague Wars 3 years prior had been convenient. The Veltar hegemony had already begun mining operations on former human colonies. The Crystalline Collective was harvesting the ruins of human cities for their peculiar architectural materials. Even the peaceful Xenathi had claimed several human agricultural worlds, their vast fungal networks already consuming the abandoned farmlands. It was, by all accounts, a prosperous arrangement. Fleet Admiral Sarah Chen watched the proceedings through the quantum-encrypted feed from her flagship's command center, buried deep within the asteroid field of what the galaxy once knew as the Sol system. Around her, the bridge crew maintained their silent vigil, faces illuminated by the soft glow of tactical displays showing the disposition of the Third Fleet. "Admiral," came the voice of Commander Rodriguez from the communication station. "The hegemony freighters are beginning their approach to Mars. The crystalline harvesters just entered Jupiter's orbit." Chen's jaw tightened. 3 years of hiding. 3 years of watching alien scavengers pick apart humanity's legacy, while the survivors planned, built, and prepared. The bioweapon that had supposedly wiped out humanity had indeed been devastating, but not quite as thorough as the galaxy believed. The deep space colonies had survived. The generation ships lost between the stars had endured. Most importantly, the black sites, humanity's most classified military installations, had remained untouched, their locations unknown to the very allies who had betrayed them when the plague struck. "Signal the fleet," Chen commanded, her voice carrying the weight of 3 years of carefully contained fury. "Operation Lazarus is authorized." Across the solar system, running lights flickered to life on vessels that had waited in the dark for this moment. The humans had learned much from their brief time in galactic civilization, including how to build warships that could make even the hegemony's dreadnoughts seem antiquated. The first indication that something was wrong came from the Crystalline Collective's harvester ships orbiting Jupiter. Their crystalline hulls, designed to process raw matter at the molecular level, simply stopped. The ships hung motionless in space for 17 seconds before erupting in brilliant cascades of light as their own harvesting beams turned inward. On the Nexus Station, alarms began to sound. "What's happening?" Ambassador Zixathera demanded as the tactical displays around the council chamber flickered to life, showing the disposition of forces throughout human space. The answer came in the form of Admiral Chen's image materializing in the center of the chamber, transmitted simultaneously to every capital world in the galaxy. "Greetings," she said, her voice carrying a politeness that somehow made the words more terrifying. "I am Fleet Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force. You may remember us. We're the extinct species whose worlds you've been strip mining for the past 3 years." Behind her, the bridge of her flagship came into view, showing dozens of officers working at their stations with the calm efficiency of a military force at the height of its power. "I'm here to inform you that reports of humanity's death have been greatly exaggerated." The tactical displays updated, showing new contacts appearing throughout the galaxy. Hundreds of them. Ships that had been running silent, hidden in asteroid fields and dark nebulae powered down and waiting. Admiral Chen continued, "You declared us extinct without bothering to verify that we were actually dead. You divided up our worlds, enslaved our survivors, and plundered our heritage. These actions constitute acts of war against the human species." Ambassador Zixathera found her voice. "This is impossible. The plague killed 3 billion of us," Chen interrupted, her composure never wavering, That left approximately 4 billion very angry survivors scattered across 100 hidden colonies and deep space installations. We've spent the last 3 years studying your weaknesses, reverse engineering your technology, and building a fleet specifically designed to remind you why humanity was considered dangerous in the first place. The displays showed the first strikes beginning across the galaxy. Human ships, sleek and predatory, emerged from hiding to engage the occupation forces on former human worlds. But these weren't the same crude vessels that had first brought humanity to galactic attention. These ships incorporated technologies stolen or adapted from every member species of the Galactic Council. Veltar shield technology, enhanced and perfected. Crystalline energy weapons, modified beyond their original design parameters. Xanathi biotechnology, weaponized in ways that would have horrified its peaceful creators. The galaxy taught us much during our brief membership in your community, Admiral Chen observed, watching as the tactical displays showed human forces systematically dismantling the occupying fleets. Most importantly, you taught us that in this universe the only species that survives is the one willing to do whatever it takes to protect its own. On Veltar Prime, the hegemony's capital world, citizens pointed in terror at the sky as human warships descended through the atmosphere, their hulls bearing the scars of battle and the insignia of a species that refused to die quietly. "We are reclaiming our worlds," Chen announced as the images of human forces landing on liberated planets filled the screens throughout the galaxy. "We are freeing our people, and we are serving notice that humanity's extinction has been permanently canceled." The transmission ended with a simple message scrolling across every screen. "We remember who stood with us, and we remember who stood against us. Choose your next actions carefully." In the silence that followed, Ambassador Zixthera realized that the galaxy had made a crucial error in its assessment of humanity. They had assumed that the humans' greatest weakness was their refusal to surrender. They had failed to consider that it might be their greatest strength. Outside the Nexus Station's viewports, the first human warships appeared, their weapons powered down but their message unmistakable. Humanity had returned from the dead, and they had learned from their teachers well. The galaxy's new order would have to wait.